All right, DL Gleason, what's up?
How's it going?
Oh man, I'm pumped to be in a gym with a bunch of wrestlers. So I'm saying it's going great. How about you?
It feels good, man. Just to be out, back in the swing of things. People are having a great time. I've been missing it dearly. My kid has too, and to show the world that we can put an event together like this and everybody stay safe and it hasn't been a problem at all. Yeah, these masks are a little bit inconvenient, but if it means that we can get back on the mat and see our kids compete, then it's well worth it. So,
you know what I think about if I feel my mask or something, like, man, the stuff we used to go through to do this sport is a lot harder than donning a mask.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, when compared to cutting weight and traveling and driving 4 hours, this is a small concession. So
yeah.
I think it could potentially be kind of paving the way for the way that sports and organizations can hold events like this, because I haven't felt unsafe one time, and it's just been awesome. This venue is really good. I almost didn't come, but we thought about it, and he really wanted to come. He really wanted to play. My son did, so we decided we were going to pull the trigger, and I'm really glad we did.
Nice. Tell me about so March, all this stuff hits, everything's closing down, and what did you do to stay sharp or get better?
Well, luckily we have resources around us, and I think where there's a wrestling will, there's a way.
Yeah.
And we were fortunate enough, a gentleman on our high school team, he had a little bit of land in a barn, so
that's perfect.
Elam and Bears and Mara and those guys all, and the high school kids all hauled some mats over there, and it was about probably 40 foot by 20 foot, maybe something like that area, but it was just enough. And when we started off, it was small groups, just to be conservative and try and test it out. And it never got crazy big, but we split it up, little guys and big guys, and we'd have everybody around the room to make sure nobody went into metal walls and stuff like that. But we just figured out a way and did 2 days a week, and we're fortunate enough to get into the high school and do a little bit of lifting once they opened some things up. And we did Zoom lifting and practices in April and March, like back when it was really, really heavy, and you can't stay stagnant. So
yeah, well, did something right. Your boy finished 4th place this weekend. Tell me about his wrestling, and tell me about your coaching.
So David, it's probably one of his last 12U tournaments ever, and we've never been to Reno. We've talked about it. We've been to Tulsa and things like that, and he's always in the mix. He's always competing, and he's placed at some of these types of tournaments, but we've always wanted to come. So the fact that it was in Tulsa was great, so we didn't have to travel to Reno. And he wrestled really, really tough. Beat the kids that took 5th and 6th on his way to the semis, and lost a real heartbreaker there to a kid from Rhode Island. And you saw the conditioning piece of it in there a little bit, where at the end we took a little bit of a bad shot and got ourselves in a bad position, but it was tied in the 3rd period, and you can't ask for more than that in a semis match at a tournament of this caliber. And as far as my coaching, I learned something really big that match, because I had done some homework on the kid, and I had known that he had this kill move. I knew it, and we talked about it. We talked about how to stay out of it, and we almost got put it in the 1st period. And I thought in the 3rd period I had this moment where I kind of froze, and I thought, just don't overcoach, because I've done that before. But really, I should have crawled up his butt a little bit and told him, no more sweeps. Do not go back to your sweep. Yeah. And we did, and we got in the guy's wheelhouse, and he stopped our motion, and it was incredible, man. This kid could whizzer and pull up and throw a headlock from a position I've never seen a kid be able to do, and that we don't ever get pinned, ever. It's been years, and this kid put us on our back and put us away, so it's humbling. Yeah. But
you come to events like these, you run into guys that can pin.
Yep.
That's how it is.
So,
what's it like for you? I think about it all the time. I have a 3-year-old. What's it like for you coaching your son? And is it different than maybe coaching anybody else?
My philosophy with my son has been I've had a philosophy from day one, and I've always talked to my coaches that have been around me about it with their son and had the same expectations. And I truly try to go by the mantra of don't coach your son any different than you would coach any other kid in the room, and vice versa. So what that means is, if I'm ever talking to my son like I would talk to another kid, then I'm fine. But if I catch myself going, would you be talking to the next kid like this? Then that's kind of my litmus test and my check on myself of, just play off of him, man. He's been such a blessing to coach because there's never been a pull, right?
Yeah.
And I think that when you give him time after a hard loss, when you just love on him, that's all you got to do. And I mean, hell, he almost makes me cry. He comes off the match apologizing to me.
Yeah.
It's just like, dude, don't apologize. You wrestle your ass off.
Yeah.
So it's been amazing. There's a way to do it and there's a way not to do it.
How about,
and there's a lot of people that don't do it the right way.
Oh, dude, I get emotional walking around here sometimes. And it's every youth event, I guess, but just some of the things you hear. But what about the experience in general? You came down here with a buddy and another kid. You're in an RV in Oklahoma with your boy. Like, isn't it awesome what we get out of wrestling?
Wrestling has done so much for me in my life, man. I mean, it's got me my career. It's got me some of the best friends. So the experience of coming down here in an RV with a couple of your really good buddies, I got to know them even better. Our kids develop deeper bonds. I haven't had an experience like it because I was going to bring my camper and we were going to camp over at the fairgrounds. Well, they moved it from the fairgrounds. We thought we were just going to be right there and walk over. Well, it's just a short drive, but we ended up staying out in the parking lot. And you can go to your camper in between sessions. You can chill. You can eat healthy. You don't have to go out all the time. And we stayed up late a couple nights.
Yeah.
I brought my guitar.
Oh man, sounds awesome.
We just had a blast. We watched a movie last night. I couldn't have asked for a better vacation, honestly. And then be able to come in here and watch the boys compete. All of them did well. I needed it. I needed it in a bad way. So it was awesome to be able to get away.
Tell me about the book. You're working on a book, right?
So the book that my dad wrote?
Yeah.
So my dad, he filmed, it's cool, what you do, because my dad filmed everything I did. And he was actually working on a documentary, and he just was always building things and creating things with his mind. And he was so impacted by the precious dough that it created a story in his mind that he decided to start. It was a goal of his to be an author, so he started writing it down, and he had many chapters written, but they're all over the place. And he talked to me about it before he died, and when he died, it was very far from being done. I found my first notes the other day. I actually did. It took me about 7 years to really pick it up and wrap my head around the fact that I'm going to finish this. And then after that, it took about 8 years to actually finish it. So it's done. I self-published it in Amazon. I learned how to do that, and it's just really neat because I don't know what's ever going to come of it. It's probably never going to be on the New York Times bestsellers list, but when I get feedback from people that read it, it's really, really neat because I've learned that it's something special. Like from his work to me to finish it, it's really sacred to me. Just like wrestling, it's sacred to me, and he taught me those types of things. And I think that wrestling and you asked me about father-son, it creates a sacred relationship. And if you can do it right, you can teach your kid how to be a good man. You can teach him how to live life lessons, and those are all the things that I took from my dad, and helped me finish this book. The things that I learned from the sport of wrestling, and so.
Awesome. You're the man, DL. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
And safe travels home. Is there anything else you want to say?
I would just say to, I don't know. I think that our area in Kansas City is so hot. It's such a hot spot, and I learned something from my high school coach, and Gary Mayab was one of the best ever. And I'm really trying to, stick true to those philosophies that I think I learned from him, and it's to do things the right way. And there's been you know, a lot of changes in the Kansas City, just like in any city with youth clubs and stuff and building programs, and you got so many good programs. My goal is just to build a really good, healthy program based off of the philosophical things that we were talking about today. You know, doing things the right way, not over pressuring a kid. You know, we cut a little bit of weight this weekend, but not much. You know, making your kids cut weight too early, shy away from it. We've never done that. We've cut 5 pounds at the most. You know, and as a 110 pounder to 105, to me, that's not overdoing it. But if you overdo it, that's what breaks the kid's spirit. And I think that people are so desperate to win and be the best and be at the top and have the best club and all this, that we sell ourselves short. So Mayab just taught me one of the biggest things I took away was just be true to yourself, be true to who you are, and I believe if we do that, good things will happen in our club and our organizations, and I just want that in Kansas City. You know, my goal is to be friendly with everybody. You know, we're competitors, but to have good relationships with them. The victories, the greater heights out there, those types, the Park Hills, the Liberties, there's no point. It's just like all this stuff going on in the world right now. There's no point in being mad and hating each other and stuff. I believe there's a way to do it, and it'll help the kids, it'll help the sport, it'll help the community to just do things the right way and respect each other, honestly. Stop the piddly BS. You know, I just get tired of it. It wears me out. But anyway, I can talk for hours about all that.
We'll have to do this more. I appreciate it. But I was just thinking, I think the reason you don't want to cut too much weight is because then you'd have to go on more of those weight cut runs with him. I saw that.
That too. As he gets older, he's pushing me to, and you know, that's the other thing that is really neat about a father-son relationship with wrestling is he's pushing me now. He did a pull-up contest with me the other day because I told him my dad always did this with me, creating healthy competition. The day you beat me at this, I'll give you $100. Chess, running, sprint, you know, whatever it might be. If, the day you take me down. And so we got a $100 deal going the day he takes me down. But he did it with pull-ups the other day, and I hadn't been working out much, and all of a sudden he gets on there and cranks out 18 pull-ups, like strict. And I'm like, oh my God. So I get on there and I get out 19, but I think I almost tore my bicep muscles. So doing stuff like that, going on runs with him, it keeps me young. I remember my dad telling me before he died many times, he's like, you know what, you just added a year to my life. You know, we'd go out and play racquetball or basketball, and doing those types of things with your kids is what creates, it's what builds them up and creates lasting memories, and it's priceless, man. So
absolutely, you said it. You're the man.
Thanks.
We'll see you around.
Thanks for the interview. It's fun.